Okay, it's time to look at the lead vocal. Now, the lead vocal is probably the most important thing in music of this style. Any music that's lyric driven, like gospel music, country music, in other words, not pop music, it seems to be that the vocal needs to be on top of the track as much as you can do it and still have a rocking little track. So I've got a couple of things that we can do to make this vocal. Remember a few minutes ago I told you her vocal is pretty dynamic. You know, it goes from this to this. So I mean, it goes from like not sitting in the track very well to sitting in the track, you know, where it should be. So I am not going to be afraid to really compress her vocal. And so we're going to start right here, and I'm going to go to the leveler mode this time, and I'm going to leave it set up just like it is. I'm going to pull the band down just a little bit more, and let's listen to her vocal. I'm going to hit her with the leveler here, and then I'll probably hit her with the leveler here. Let's see. Matter of fact, let's reset this. I'll show you what I've done here. So she's cranking pretty hot right there, and she's barely coming through here. So what we're going to do is we're going to, instead of hitting her so hard with one compressor that you hear it pump and breathe, we're probably going to hit her with 2, 3, or maybe even 4 compressors. I know that sounds like a lot of compressors, but I would rather hit her, you know, with a few dB on each compressor so that you can't hear it, you know, so where that compressor's working in its sweet spot, than having one compressor really trying to eliminate all of our problems with her dynamic range. So the first thing let's do is let's go and let's mess with this leveler right here.
Or live in the past, don't have all the answers, so I won't ask. The only thing for certain.
And what I'm looking for is just a transparent level here. I want to knock down probably around 10 dB. To be honest with you, and I don't really want it to hit on the soft spots. I want it to hit when she gets loud. So I want that to kind of be the first stage of compression in its in the dictionary sense of compression. You know, using the software. Now there's a few other things that we could do. We could go through here and we could ride the gain on some of this stuff, which probably wouldn't be a bad idea, especially like on spots like this where she's pretty light. I've hit the gain tool, and we can come up just a little bit, and then maybe right here just come up again, and you know, and we may just do that just to show you what all you can do with this. There's another soft spot. Looks, now I should be listening to this stuff, but I'm going to show you just as an example what we can do. Now this happens before the first compressor ever sees it. So really we're kind of helping it out. And if you wanted to, we could take this loud phrase, we could take this loud phrase here where she gets really, really loud right here, and we could go ahead, let me zoom into that just a little bit more. We could go ahead and just pull that in. This is where she got really loud a while ago. So we'll pull that back just a little bit. So we're kind of offline editing some of her vocals as we go. You know, like things like this where we know she gets really, whoops, I keep hitting the wrong button. Things like this line right here. You know, if we were to zoom into that, we'd see that she's a little loud there. We could pull that back, help the compressor out a little bit, so we can get a little bit more transparency out of the compressor. Now you can be as attentive to this kind of stuff as you want to. I'm just kind of eyeballing this, so don't think that this is a scientific method. It's not. It's really just kind of helping the limiter out a little bit. So okay, so we've done offline edits, and the cool thing about this is we did this with the gain tool. So this is erasable. It would work really well if you had a sibilant vocal where you had some really bright S's, and you could see, like sometimes the S's are so loud on some tracks that I've mixed that will look like an S, and you can tell that it's, you know, pretty that it's pretty sibilant. And I've even talked to some Grammy Award-winning mixer friends of mine who I asked them about de-essing and things like that, and they say they would rather just go in and ride the gain like this. The cool thing about Mixbus is that you can do region gain like this, and you don't have to cut the regions to do it. You can do it all offline. This is all independent from mixing, so I haven't even touched the automation yet, so you won't see this fader move when those changes are coming by, but it will happen before the I believe it happens before the, I'm not positive about this, but before the input gain, but I know it happens before the limiter. So let's listen to what we've got so far with these little changes here and see if we're helping the limiter out a little bit. I'm going to go back to the selector tool or the smart mode, and then let's take a listen to this.
Can't worry about the future or live in the past. Don't have all the answers, so I won't ask. The only thing for certain is the good times never last too long.
It's already sitting in the mix a little better.
So I laugh every chance.
Let's see when it gets louder what happens here.
Learn to forgive and have no regrets. I got a lover who loves me and some real good friends. Somehow or the other.
Okay, so that's sounding pretty good. Another thing I'd like to do is, since we've got her bus over here, let's let the tape saturation help us a little bit, and it is already. I don't have it turned off, but let's hit her again with the limiter over here and do the same thing to where when she hits loud phrases like this one and this one, we know that it's touching the limiter a little bit, or the leveler, as it were.
I meet the ends, so I walk the walk and dance to the song. Living in the moment, nothing is wrong. It's all gonna change anyhow. I've got nothing but now.
Let's pull the track and see how she sits up with the track now.
I've thought about life, and it seems to me the glass is either half full or half empty. It's all in how you look at all the endless possibilities. And I may never have a lot, but I'm thankful for what I've got. I got a lover who loves
See, we're making her sit in the track now without a whole lot of automation. Now, if you don't consider this automation, which is, to me, I don't in this mode, because I'm not tied to it. I can go and erase all of that stuff, and I don't see faders. I'm not committed to a fader moves, in other words. But here's one thing I would like to do. I have a couple of other favorite compressors. I use the Chris Lord Alge stuff, and let's do a I'm going to do a save as real quick, and we'll do it and I'll call that, I'm fixing to show you the Chris Lord Alge stuff. So let's go to her track, and I want to double click, and let's see, the 1176 is one of the things I want to use, so I'm going to double click that and then insert plug-in, and notice that the input, output, attack, and release are there, which are the four big knobs. But I want to show you, I love the bluey for this, and then we'll listen to this. And again, we don't want to get any more than 10 dB here, because that's when these things start to really sound, is after 10 dB. So let's take a listen now.
and real good friends. Somehow or the other I meet the end. So I walk the walk and dance to the song. Living in
I want to show you something on this compressor. Notice where the release is here, and notice that sometimes when this thing jumps down so far, like 10 dB, it wants to just kind of float back up here, and she's already said another couple of words then. So what we need to do, that's an indicator to me that we need to speed up the release time. And notice when I do this release time, this release comes up here too. So
nothing's wrong. It's all gonna change anyhow. I got nothing but now.
Now I don't know if you remember this or not, but that line was the troubled line because she was belting it so much, and I couldn't find a place where I could get it to sit in the mix. And now it is. We've got 3 different compressors on her, and it seems to be sitting in the mix. So now I could literally go back and ride her vocal in the automation, and I will go ahead and do that. Let's go back to the top of the song, and let's ride her vocal. Now this isn't this automation that you're seeing here is region automation. It's not really considered automation as far as this fader is concerned. So what I'm going to do is automate this, and it's not unusual for me not to automate that many channels because I like to make things sit in the mix with plugins and compression and EQ and make it sit in the mix, because it just, to me, it feels more natural that way. And I know that when I've overridden stuff and ride every little possible thing, it starts to not sound like a band for some reason. To me, it just doesn't sound as natural. I'd almost rather things pop through the mix sometime for the sake of it sounding more real. So anyway, let's go. I usually don't do this, but I want you to see me ride the vocal here. What I want to do is I'm going to go back to the top of the song. I'm going to put it in mono. So I'm going to, I think it's still in mono. Yeah. So we'll put it in mono here, and I'm going to ride her vocal. Let's see where it is so that when we're riding, let's see, if we need to adjust before we start.
Regrets. I got a lover who loves me and some real good friends. Somehow or the other I meet the ends. So I walk through warm and dance to the song.
Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try my best to set myself up for a total win here. And I say that because here's what I'm going to do. It would be really easy for me to jack her vocal up at this level in mono. Her vocal is going to sound a little loud anyway because you've got stereo instruments around her, and she's kind of the featured artist, so it's going to be easy for you to mix her up loud. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set her up in mono to be just above the track, so that on the words that would normally disappear, they will definitely disappear at this level. And then when I get a level done that way, I know that it's going to be too low when I put it in stereo, and then I will compensate for it in stereo, and then I'll know that it's a good ride. I hope that's understandable. So what I'm going to do is just kind of put her in the pool there, and then just barely let her head float above the water, and I'll know every time it goes under vocally. I mean, level wise speaking, I'll know every time her head goes under. Every time I don't understand a word, I'll know it instantly, so that when I lift her up out of the water to her waist, then it's still, relative to the track, a good vocal ride. I hope you understand that. That's what I'm trying to do with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the makeup gain for the limiter that's on her channel here, so that it's just above the track. Listen. That sounds about right there. So what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and put her in touch mode, and then we'll start riding her from the very beginning of the song. Okay? And you may hear me stop, and I may not say anything. I may say something, but this will be just kind of a long vocal ride. Okay? Here we go.
Can't worry about the future or live in the past. Don't have all the answers, so I won't ask. The only thing for certain is the good times never last too long. So I laugh every chance I get. Learn to forgive and have no regrets. I got a lover who loves me seems to me the glass is either half full or half empty. It's all in how you look at all the endless possibilities. And I may never have a lot, but I'm thankful for what I've got. I got a lover who loves me and real good friends. Somehow or the other I meet the end. So I walk the walk and dance to the song, living in the moment, nothing's wrong. It's all gonna change anyhow. I got nothing but now. Nothing but the rest of my life. It's all good, it's gonna be alright. So I walk the walk and dance to the song, living in the moment, nothing is wrong. It's all gonna change anyhow. I got nothing but I got nothing but now. Oh, I got nothing but now.
Let's go back and grab that. I thought we were done, so I'll grab that last line.
Oh, I got nothing but now.
All right, so let's go and take a look and see the automation. There's the automation that we did. And I'm going to go back and listen to the first line, first few lines, and show you kind of a few things that I noticed that were missing, but I didn't want to mess up the ride. So listen.
Can't worry about the future or live in the past. Don't have all the answers, so I won't ask. The only thing for certain is the good times never last too long. So I laugh every chance I get. Learn to forgive and have no regrets. I got a lover who loves me and some real good friends. Somehow or the other I meet the ends. So I walk the walk and dance to the song.
The word song, I want to go in and pull that up just a little bit. So I'm going to select this. I'm just going to pull that up just a little bit.
To the song, living in the moment, nothing is
And then living in the moment, I think I'm going to pull down just a little bit. I think maybe my reaction time was a little slow, and I may have pulled it up a little bit.
living in the moment, nothing is wrong. It's all gonna change anyhow. I've got nothing but now.
Okay, well that's all I'm going to show you right there. Normally, if I wasn't demoing this, I would probably go back and listen at even a lower level and make sure that each word, each syllable of every word I can understand. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here on this part.
I've thought about life, and it seems to me
Like the word me.
and it seems to me
You see how it just kind of fell out right there? Probably select that and maybe just delete that automation where it kind of came down. Let's listen again.
and it seems to me
That helped. That little dip in automation, that's what I'm talking about. If you over automate something, it kind of does that. So, okay, we've got her vocal written, and you can see as the track went on, it looks like her vocal went up a little bit. especially there at the very end where it was low. So all that compression actually really helped it to sit in the mix. So what I'm going to show you now is let's listen to that her automation, her track in there in mono, and then I want to put it in stereo and show you how we're going to compensate for it.
The glass is either half full or half empty. It's all in how you look at all the endless possibilities.
A little low, so I'm
And I may never have a lot, but I'm thankful for what I've got. I got a lover who loves me and real good friends. Somehow or the other I meet the end.
So you can see how we took the benefits of having mixed her at a low level just above the track, and now we're pushing her up, and relative to the track it's still a good ride. It's just a louder vocal, and you don't have like whole phrases that are way too loud because you don't have any point of reference. Basically what you're doing with that is you're pulling her vocal down so that you have a good point of reference of how loud her vocal needs to be. So it's kind of like the masking tape for the paint job you're doing. You can follow the lines there, and if you know that if her vocal gets lost in the track right here, then you know it might be a little loud, might be a little light even when it gets loud, and vice versa. If it gets really loud according to the track, it's going to be smoking loud when you get her up to rock and roll level. So that's a little trick that I learned, and hopefully it'll make your mixes be glued together a little bit more. Let's add, I want to hear a little bit of verb on her. So I'm going to open up another mix bus, number 7, and let's just add a, let's see, our verb I think would be a good. There it is. Let's do stereo and insert it. Now I'm going to mute the drums temporarily until we get the verb set up.
So I walk.
And let's see, she's on 7, so on her vocal I'll add 7 to hers.
Walk and dance to the song, living in the moment.
And we probably need a little bit on the background vocals also. So let's add those. I just love how easy it is to instantiate a reverb.
Nothing is wrong. It's all gonna change anyhow. I got nothing but now.
Actually, that's not a bad sounding verb even as it is, but I'm going to shorten the time just a little bit. And I usually do this by, I'll stop and start back so that you can hear the reverb trail. Listen.
Nothing but the rest of my life.
It sounds about right. You may want to, instead of doing this, if you want it to be a little bit more edgy, you may want to do a delay instead of this. I'm just going to choose a verb for now.
All good, it's gonna be alright.
And let's see. Let's keeping house here, and let's do the V verb. Vocal verb is why I've got it named like that, so it's easy to find. One thing I am missing too is a little snare verb on the snare and toms. So let's do that. Let's use number 8 for that. Mixbus 8. We'll open that up, and I'm going to go ahead and just name it D verb for drum verb. And then let's do the same thing. Let's just add another reverb. That's the easiest access I have to one, and probably shorten the time on it a little bit, even a little bit more. Let's listen. Let's add to the snare, boom, and to the toms the drum verb. And let's go ahead and mute the vocals just so we can hear, and also the keys. I'll deactivate this mix group so that I can mute the keys and guitars independently. So let's listen, and I'll add a little verb to the snare and toms. I'm going to brighten it up just a little bit. And you know what I might even is alright, let's listen to that. Just a little bit of ambience on the snare and the toms. Let's see what we got.
Can't worry about the future or live in the past. Don't have all the answers, so I won't ask. The only thing for certain is the good times never last too long.
Okay, well, like it or not, it's sounding pretty good. I mean, you could probably go in here and tweak some things. Like one of the things I would probably do is go back to the very beginning. And every time that you hear something without vocal in it, it should be a red flag to you to pull it up. Like, let's listen to the very beginning of this. Listen to the hook line here. Starting here. That line right there probably needs to come up, and I would probably just go and do that offline somewhere. Let's see, let me find this. The new Apple mouse has got me messed up. It goes the opposite way that it used to go, and sometimes I get lost. So let's take a look at the guitars. Not the chunk, probably not the wacko. It's one of these two guitars. Let's see. Matter of fact, let's take these background vocals out just so it's easier to see. And let's see which guitar it is. And now we found it. And I'm just going to pull it up just a little bit. And this is in, we'll do this in gain mode. So we'll do this, just grab that section, pull it up just a little bit. Let's do that again.
About the future or live in the
And you know what's always a good thing to do is listen in mono. Let's listen again. Sounds like the banjo is kind of overtaking it, so I'm going to pull the banjo down a little bit. The mouse messing with me again.
Can't worry about the future or live in the.
Let's go back to the top and listen again.
Can't worry about.
So, in an effort to get this fill track to cut through the mono mix a little bit more, let's do this. Let's add an effect called Stereo Tool, which I also have on the Master Fader. It'll just help us to kind of narrow things up a little bit. So let's take a listen to this guitar. Let me pull it up to where he's playing here. Okay, there's the big stereo sound. Let's open up Stereo Tool. Let's do a couple of things here. Let's put him back in the middle and let's listen in mono. And let's experiment with taking one side and putting it out of phase. So there is a phasing sort of issue there, but I think what we're going to do instead is just narrow it up a little bit. So let's take the stereo field out just a little bit. So what we're going to do is listen in stereo again. So we're just kind of pulling it in just a little bit. Okay, so let's listen to the intro now with the guitar pulled in just a little bit, and then we'll make a call on how loud it needs to be in mono. So let's unbypass this.
Can't worry about the future or live in the past. Don't have all the answers, so I won't ask.
Let's see how much that sounded in mono. I mean in stereo now. See if it's too loud.
Can't worry about the future.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. Okay, I've got verb on the vocal. I've got verb on the drums now. We've got most of the instruments in, sitting the way we want to. Now what I want to do is take a look over here at the master fader, and let's look at tape saturation. I want to look at this K14 meter, and I want to show you how you should be rocking the V right there. I want to show you how to use this correlation meter, and we'll do that on the next section. So meet me back here in just a few minutes and we'll talk about the master fader and we'll put this thing to bed.